and another content update has arrived for Age of Wonders 4. Another chance for me to talk about how great this game is. With every edition, it keeps getting better, building into one of the richest strategy games on the market. It's been a year and a half since the game originally launched, and back then, it was a solid experience. A nice modern upgrade to its predecessor, albeit missing a few bells and whistles. In the time since, the game has grown and expanded. It started out as a way to live out fan-favourite fantasy tropes, and more options have consistently been added. Dragon Dawn unlocked the opportunity for players to roleplay as a massive dragon, exploring the world and doing massive dragon things. A fantasy staple, but then things went off course. The option to be a subjugating imperial menace was given in Empires and Ashes, or crocodile-worshipping swamp goats in Primal Fury. The possibilities kept mounting. Triumph finished off their planned content cycle with Eldritch Realms, giving the maddest entry yet, a dangerous new map layer to explore, an insidious Eldritch sovereign leader type, several metric tons of tentacles and eyeballs. Just as their fans were lamenting over Age of Wonders 4 finishing its run, the devs tossed a bone. Another year of content, and that cycle has kicked off with a bang. The big new addition with Ways of War is a new culture, the Oathsworn. I've been noticing over the past few expansions, with cultures getting more ambitious and expansive, and the Oathsworn is proof of that. It's split into 3 distinct paths. The Oath of Righteousness focuses on being a beacon for good and combating evil in all its forms. Followers of the Oath of Harmony are peacekeepers, building relationships with other empires and city-states. The Oath of Strife teaches the exact opposite. Crush, burn, kill and maim. Destroy everyone and everything in your path. Great with the Chosen Destroyers perk, which is the approach I took for my inaugural playthrough. So you've got one culture, 3 very different playstyles. Each of them come together to explore alternate angles of an East Asian theme. You'll see it in the units, the cities, and in the monsters and creatures that populate the world and its distinct map. 2 forms join the roster, and you can experiment with imposing ogres that are taken straight out of Japanese myth, or simians. Monkey enjoyers rejoice, your time has come. They've taken their previous happening system and repurposed it into a new intrigue mechanic. Multi-stage story events that spice up games. Bring in a coup here, a betrayal there, and an assassination or two to keep you on your toes. Only a few months back, I was here complaining about the lack of intrigue in Age of Wonders, and here I am, eating humble pie. It's not the approach I had in mind, but this works, helping to fill out that distinct storytelling approach the game has. It doesn't just add a mechanical system balanced on the top, but includes it in a way that complements what's already there. So already with that, a ton of possibilities, but the new additions drip back into older playstyles and factions, new tomes to discover and experiment with, new maps and modifiers, new goodies to unlock as you play. They filled out the world with new creatures, many of which are frankly a bit gross, but they add new flavor to the world, make it all feel richer and more varied. And that adds to what I've always seen Age of Wonders to be. It gives you a blank piece of paper, a few crayons, and lets you create your own fantasy world. It started off grounded with the default tropes, your humans, dwarves, elves, your wizards and great warriors. But each future iteration went off course and tapped into something new. Vicious bird pirates, nature-worshipping wild people, all-consuming eldritch horrors. I found myself starting to live out fantasy tropes from other media, but as I was given more tools, I started to create things I've never seen before. Bizarre fantasies brought to life. And this isn't just the character creator. Each new system, new tome of magic, new culture and trait, it all brings new ways to engage with the world and fulfill these outlandish goals. You'll transform your people as you play, interact and contest with different rulers and empires. Some are factions you've made yourself. All of a sudden, you're sharing the world with all of your crackpot Mad Hatter fantasy folks. You're dealing with a thorn in your side that, once upon a time, was a hero in another tale. No 2 games ever feel the same. As you play and discover, you're also consistently unlocking more possibilities. The Pantheon system is a novel approach. After each game, you're unlocking new things. These might be minor, like a hat or a weapon. In some cases, they might be a trait which opens up a new playstyle, like the Chosen Destroyers I'm playing as here. They can't have multiple cities, they don't engage with other empires. This trait opens up a new way to play. You aren't conquering the world, you're leveling it. And there are loads of traits to unlock that open up new avenues of play. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Sounds neat, but what about that barrier of entry? Base game plus expansion plus expansion plus expansion. Yes, there's a lot of additional content. But there's a few ways to look at it. With each edition, there's also an injection of content into the base game. The core Age of Wonders experience is much better than it was at launch. They've reworked cultures, added new systems, introduced mechanics. In Age of War, for instance, they've gone back and overhauled how heroes work. This is a big old change that alters how you approach the game. But if you're having fun and want more, it's there. Now I know that expansion churn is a turn-off for many, but we're not talking silly levels here. 3 content packs a year, and each really does add a sizable amount, and it's all worthwhile. Not to name a few Stellaris or Crusader Kings expansions I've bought that I'm still unsure of what they do. Everything for Age of Wonders can really be felt. They each add a new flavour, and if you don't fancy that flavour, well, you don't need it. You put it all together and you get something really rich. Tons of possibilities. A strategy game that offers potential beyond its peers. Even without all the extra appendages, the base game is a solid experience that continues to evolve. I have a personal wish list for the game, and some things have been addressed like the intrigue system, but then they'll introduce something I never would have anticipated. Grow the game in a new area, and it becomes more expansive. It's a game that keeps you on your toes. It isn't a matter of introducing new features essential to having fun. The developers keep giving you more options, expanding the scope of the Fantasy Sandbox, providing more rabbit holes to fall down. If you've never tried it, really, it is one of my favourite 4Xs around, and I'd wholeheartedly recommend it. And with every content drop, every update, I get more enamoured with it. It becomes more exciting and more outlandish. It's been out a year and a half, but it still feels as fresh as ever, and there's so much to still look forward to. The new season of content kicked off with Ways of War, but that'll be continued with Giant Kings and the Archon Prophecy. The former will introduce fallen empires and a new leader type, and the latter, a new culture, new systems, and new story content. Details are still scarce for those, but given the current track record of expansions, I can only expect the game to become even more intricate and multi-layered. And it's never too late to get in on things. I slept on the game initially and picked it up during its second expansion, and it has been a wild ride since then. It went from being a novelty to one of my staple 4X games. It offers something that nothing else on the market does, and that's not just the fantasy madness, but the combat system, the empire building, the role-playing, the world, the setting, the vibrancy. It just stands out. It's a niche title in a niche genre. No, it's not Civilization with orcs, but its own distinct thing that really scratches an itch. And something that's important for me, it's got such a healthy community. Players sharing mad builds, ideas for game settings, fans who want to see the game grow and share their experiences with others. I have a ton of respect for the game, its players and the developers, and it's a title that can really offer so much to the right person. If you've been nodding along this whole time and you've yet to try it, seriously, get on it. It is a hell of a journey, and there's a whole bunch more to come. And when that time comes, you know I will be here waving that flag for Age of Wonders once more, gushing about the completely bonkers but brilliant game all over again. Make sure you subscribe to be there for that, or just to catch all the strategy content coming out weekly. But that's all from me today. Age of Wonders 4, what a game. And what a textbook example of how to make a title grow, prosper, and expand to new heights after release. Whether you want to unite the world, watch it burn, or just sprout a pair of wings, this game has you covered. Thank you for watching.